Hello, everybody, and welcome to video 4 in this live programming video series. I tried to record this video earlier today, but after I got finished with the session, the video was unusable. The problem is this computer that I'm doing this on is a really not very powerful computer, and it gets bogged down really easily. And so as I was doing it, it kept my computer getting really slow, and you can see in the video that the video is really choppy, and it's just unusable. And instead of just redoing the video, I decided because I already committed the code. So for this video, I'm just gonna start off just doing like a code review of the changes I made in the video that I couldn't use. So we're just going to go on GitHub, and you can click on commits, and here's the commit that I made, and here's all the changes. The red is code that I deleted, and then the green is code that I added. I'm going to start at the bottom here. So the first change I made is to the poll result method, or the poll result model. The field that stored the result, it was called date or data, and I just renamed it to say success, because success is just more descriptive. And then I also added an error field. So basically, when the poll finishes successfully, the result is stored here in the success, and then the error is blank. But if the poll, for some reason there's a bug in it, then success will be blank and error will contain the error message, basically. And so down here, Unicode, this function is just when you're on the shell, it gives a better, it just displays it better. And so it just shows the graph set name, and then it'll say true, in parentheses, it'll say true if it was successful. And if success is blank, then this will evaluate to false. And so this will say false. And then I also made a change to this this loop. This is in the make tick function. There's a loop, it loops over all the graph sets. And so again, I just removed this line and I moved it here where it's in this try except block. So if graph set instance.poll raises an exception, so like if there's a bug in it, then this clause will catch it, and it will generate this string, and it stores it into this variable called error. And the string is basically the class name of the exception, and then a colon, and then a space, and then the string of the exception, which is basically here's an example of a graph set that causes a failure. So in this case, value error is the exception class name. And then this is where it says forced error. That's the actual string of the exception. So it would say value error, colon, and then this would say forced error. And then down here, we set the error into this. When we make the poll result, we set the error to this error string. And then success, we made a change here. So if result evaluates to true, which means if result is not empty, then it runs it through this json.dump. But if it is empty, then it'll evaluate to false, and it'll just print out an empty string. If I don't put this here, if I don't have this if result else part, then it'll just then result will be an empty string, and then when you do json.dump_s to an empty string, it'll print out a double empty string, which is not what we want. So I'll just demonstrate that. See, it prints out a double empty string. and that does not evaluate to true, or it doesn't evaluate to false. See, it's an empty string, but it's saying true. So that's why I put that there. And then here's the new migration that I made. It's just we got rid of this line, and then it's now called success. And then up here, this is a new method we added to the admin interface. So it's basically just a read-only field. It's called poll result, and it's defined down here. And we're just looping through all the results. And if the result is successful, then we generate this string. And if it's not successful, then we generate this string. And this string here is just the graph set name, and then a colon, and then the actual result. And then the graph set name is in these bold tags, so it shows up as bold. And then down here, it's pretty much the same, except we have this part here that just makes it red. And then as we got the bold, and then the graph set name. And then down here, instead of the success, we have, it says error. And so this is what it looks like right here. So this uptime was a success, so it's black. And then this one is a failure, so it's red. And then down here is system load, and you can see it says 148, which is a very, very high system load. This is why the video I made was really unusable. It was just really, really choppy. I don't know what was going on, but this is a dual core machine, which means that the system load should always be it should be less than 2. And so as you can see, 148 is just way above 2. So it just shows how bogged down the system was at the time. Anyways, and then that's it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to write some more code. I'm going to add I'm going to add an option to this management command. So when I do when I do this, when I make the tick, see right by default it doesn't print out anything. I want to have it so I can go verbose, and it'll actually print out the result. So right now it's not defined, so it's just kind of like crashes. But we want to add that. So, but before I do that, I want to make one quick change. By the way, also there's this line up here. This I probably should have deleted this, but this is a set trace. So basically, the thing about Django admin is that when one of these functions crashes, it won't tell you why it crashed. It'll just put a dash there. I'll show you what I mean. So if I just do just like raise exception, then I refresh this, it'll just be a dash. Well, it didn't do it then, but when I was like, if I do like that, yeah. So it just has to be blank, and that's really annoying because it's impossible to know what's going on. So and I kept running into that in the last video. So I had to add this set trace to where I could go one by one and step through and see what the problem is. So I'm just going to kind of demonstrate that right now. So I'm going to refresh this, and then I go here, and here's the debugger. So I could just do, see, now it tells me the actual error. It says tick object has no attribute poll result set. So I know now the problem is that I have this, the name is wrong. So then I can go in and fix it. So that's kind of a trick that I use a lot. Usually I don't need it because my code shows the error when something happens. But with Django, the Django admin, it doesn't show you the error. So you have to go digging for it. Anyways, so what I'm going to do to this is I'm going to add one more thing. So I want to have, after this, I wanted to show how long it took, because we have this seconds to poll, which is basically the amount of time it took to well, it's the amount of time between here and here. So it's basically just this line. This other stuff, it doesn't take any time to do. So it's the amount of time it took to do this. And so I want to show that in the admin. So it's pretty simple. I'm just going to go seconds to poll. And then in parentheses, took. And this %.2f just means that we're gonna, this is a float value, and we're just gonna format it so that it only shows 2 decimal places. And copy that over here. That should be it. There it is. So this took 0.8 seconds. This took practically 0 seconds. This one took 0 seconds. So in this case, it just took practically no time. And also, I'm going to add that time. I'm going to add it to this view right here. I'm going to add a new column that shows the time. So we're going to go list display. Also, I'm going to change this, instead of number of polls, we're going to say number of successful polls, and then number of error polls. And so here we're just going to add a filter. We're just going to say exclude. So we're going to count the number of poll results that don't have a blank success, basically, and then count. And then the other one is the exact same, except the other way around. Instead of exclude, it's filter. And this is error polls. Yeah, so 2 successes and 1 fail. 2 successes and 1 fail. That's correct. But I want to have this be in red so it kind of stands out more. And then since we're returning HTML, we have to say allow tags equals true. We're going to test it. There it is, it's red. And we're going to test one more thing. I'm going to remove the error, this force failure. And it should now say, I'm going to make a new tick. And this should say 2 and 0. And the 0 should be black. Yeah, here it is. 2 successes and no failures. And then also I'm going to add one more row that shows the total time. So it just adds up all the time. And then that'll be it for this video. I'll get to this verbose thing. I'll get to that next video. So yeah, so here we'll just go call it total time. And we'll just put it here. It's going to be like this. Aggregate. I'm going to say x equals sum. So I have to import this sum. I believe it's Django models. I think that's the correct one. I'm not sure. I'm just going to do then return. Again, we want to cut it off to 2 decimal places. So what this does is it adds up. It takes this query set and it dot aggregate. It just summarizes this field, and then you get basically a dictionary that has this as the key. So I can do multiple ones of these. I can do like y equals something else, and the result is going to be a list or a dictionary. And then I pull that out and then format it. So we'll see if this works. There it is. As you can see, it shows it now. And I guess that's going to be it for this video. Now I got to commit. And there it is. I'll see you next video.